Hi everyone, it's Shari Carroll for SimonsSaysStamp.com with a card inspiration focusing on using some Prima products. I'm going to start by stamping onto the background of my paper, and here I have the green leaf stamp set from Prima, and it has some really beautiful flourishes in it, so I've already put a couple on my block. And I'll be stamping those onto a piece of sea glass paper from Simon Says Stamp. I'm going for an embossed watermark look, so I'll start off with some Versamark ink and go ahead and ink up my images. I'll be stamping on the right edge of my card, so I go ahead and press this down, and then in between my stamping I'll re-ink again. And once you have the Versamark already on the stamp, you don't need to go over it as much as you do the first time, because it does have residual ink still sitting on the stamp. So once that's well inked, I can go ahead and just set it just above my other image. And I do like to start at the bottom and then move my way up when I'm stamping repeated images. So give that a good push, and I'll show you up close. You may be able to see the watermark on camera, not so much, but that's okay. I'm going to be using my clear embossing powder, and this will give me a really nice raised image, and it will be the same color tone but a little bit darker when I'm done. So I'll just sprinkle on my clear embossing powder, and I do sprinkle it on generously and then tap off the excess, and now I'll give it a blast of hot air with my heat gun. So I found this really cool product from Prima to add to my card, and they're called chalkboard paper note card sets. They have two different sizes of these really cool pre-cut cards, and they look like chalkboard. It almost has a rubber coating to it, feels like it, but it is paper. So the larger set has really nice designs, and then there's a smaller sizes also in the package that are almost like artist trading card sizes, and I love them because they already have the pre-printed white chalkboard look. I'm going to alter my piece a little bit. So here I have a piece of Simon Says Stamp khaki cardstock, and I've pre-cut it so it's just a little bit larger than my Hello note cards. So I'm going to shift that down a little bit, and then I'm going to tear the bottom off both pieces at the same time. And sorry, I went off screen a little bit, had to see what I was doing. Okay, so now you can see as I'm finishing tearing off those pieces, and then I'll go ahead and set them onto my card at an angle. I'm using the Simon Says Stamp You die cut. I love just having a simple word like this. So my card will say hello you, and I'm going to use some painter's tape and just adjust my die onto this card and go ahead and secure it, and then I can run this through my die cut machine. I've cut another U from some sea glass paper so that I can inlay it into my note card, and I've added just a little bit of adhesive to the back so it'll stick to my paper. And next I'm going to go ahead and just directly apply some Versamark ink to this. I want to add some clear embossing powder once I'm done so that I have a really nice shiny U when I'm all done. So I'll make sure that I have that really well covered. I'll slide this off on my scrap paper where there isn't any Versamark ink, and I'm grabbing my poke tool, and I'll go ahead and press that down about right where that adhesive was. And once I'm ready, I can go ahead and get out my clear embossing powder and a scrap piece of paper to collect all my extra powder. And I'll go ahead and uncap this, and again generously go ahead and sprinkle on my clear powder. And with that little bit of adhesive sitting there, it's not a problem to go ahead and tap off the excess. And now I can go ahead and heat set this once again with my heat tool. Okay, now I'm ready to start some assembly. So the first thing I want to do is add some adhesive to the back of my Hello note card. And I'm just using my tape runner to go ahead and just add some. And then I'll go ahead and flip that over and go ahead and stick it down. To glue the tiny little messages like this die cut U, I like to use my two-way glue pen, and I'm just adding a few dots of glue to where I need it, and then I can go ahead and flip this over and inset it right into the area where it should go, and then I'll go ahead and press that down and let that dry for a second. And to affix the bottom part of my little Hello note card, I've just added a little bit of my tape runner, and I will go ahead and press this right around the word U and go ahead and press that down in place. And now I have a really unique greeting. I'll be adding some of the Tim Holtz Ideology ribbon, and I really like the crinkle ribbon because you can stain it and do whatever you want to with it. So I've cut a long enough piece to go around my little note card, and the first thing I want to do is I use a bowl and a little bit of water, and go ahead and crumple this up, and this will get rid of any of the fold lines that it had from going around the cardboard and the packaging. I'll soak up that water and go ahead and crinkle it a bit more. Before I add my stain, I want to add a little bit more water, and this helps the stains really flow into the ribbon. So once again, I'll go ahead and kind of pull it apart and ring crinkle. And once I'm happy with that, I'll go ahead and set it down in my bowl. And I'm starting off with peeled paint distress stain. And I'll just dab this right onto the ribbon. You can start to see where the water is pulling that ink away. So next I'm going to be using some frayed burlap, and I'll dab this on not as much as the green because I just want highlights or lowlights. It looks like I'm adding a lot, but I started off with a new stain, so it hadn't been activated yet. So now you can see how much there is. I'll go ahead and just flip that over, and again I'll go back in with my peeled paint. And this is really starting to flow because the extra water and now extra stain in there. And again, I'll go ahead and crinkle this up with my fingers, and that just pushes that stain right into that ribbon. Before I go to heat set this, I do like to grab some of the extra stain that might be in the bottom of the bowl and a little bit more water, and I'll kind of mix that around, and now I can unroll this and show you how it's really nice and variegated. To set this all in, just use your heat gun. And again, I'm just doing this in my bowl, and you can see where the ribbon starts to get shiny when it's done. I've tied my ribbon around my hello panel, and I've also added some foam dots on the back. And here I'm just going to remove the backing off the center one and grabbing some lint from my sleeve. This is a good time to see all my flourishes on the back side of my card. And once I've grabbed some lint, I can go ahead and put my panel back on. The lint helps me to be able to reposition it when I want to. So once I've decided on my positioning, I can go ahead and press that down. I'll be adding some additional black twine to my card, and I've slid this under the knot of my ribbon, and I'll just go ahead and tie this in a bow. I'll start off with a knot, and then like I'm tying my shoes, just make a standard bow. The flowers I'm using from Prima are the Coventry Rose and also the Jardiniere Printerie. And to secure these down, I'll be using some glossy accents. And I'll start off with my large flower first and just add glossy accents to the center and hold that down, and then I can add the others. To finish things off and also to balance my card, I've added the word friend using the black letters from the Prima Engraver alphabet sticker set. They have a canvas feel to them, but they're cut really precisely and don't fray at the edges. Here's another look at my card, which I would definitely hand deliver with all the dimension. I hope I've inspired you with this selection of Prima products. Thanks for watching.